Slope-intercept form is what we learned about yesterday. Slope-intercept form involves slope, the steepness of a line, which is a fraction, rise over run, and intercept, which is where the diagonal line crosses the y-axis, right? So we had slope yesterday, and then we found the intercept. Slope and the intercept. So we had graphs yesterday. They gave us the graph, and we found the slope and the intercept. Today, they're going to give us equations, and we need to find the slope and the intercept, and we're going to graph it. So again, y equals mx plus b is slope-intercept form. It's our formula. It's our equation. Y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope, and the plus or minus b is the y-intercept. M is your slope, the coefficient of x is the slope, and the constant, the plus or minus number, is your y-intercept. So I'm going to give you some equations. We're going to identify the slope. We're going to identify the y-intercept. We're going to go through those steps, and then on the next page on your green graph, together we'll graph them. So here we go. Let's just dive right in. Y equals 3x minus 8. Let's identify the slope and the intercept. Slope and the intercept. Identify the slope and the intercept. Who's got the slope? Joseph, what's the slope?
It would be 3.
3 what? I need
Over
a fraction,
1.
right? Good. 3 over 1. And what's my intercept?
-8.
-8. Now, ladies and gentlemen, 3 over 1, right? Because it has to be a rise over a run, correct? So we need to make it into a fraction. And then -8 is my intercept. So let's do this one. Y equals -1/2 x plus 10. Find the slope. Find the intercept. Slope and the intercept. Who's got the slope for me? Henry, what's the slope?
-1/2.
-1/2. What's another way of writing that same thing?
1 over -2.
Good. Or you could have +1 over -2. Both are the same, correct? Or could you write negative and then 1/2? They're all going to be equal. What's the intercept? +10, correct? Do I need the plus sign? No. All right, so let's try this one. Y equals 5/3 x. Y equals 5/3 x. Y equals 5/3 x. What's the slope? What's my slope, Sasha? 5/3. Is there another way that I could write that slope? Could I write -5 over -3? Is that the same as +5 over +3?
Yeah.
It's just not simplified, right? What's my intercept? 0. Good. Y equals -8. Y equals -8. What's my slope? What's my intercept? What's my slope? Y equals -8. What's my intercept? Slope and intercept. Porter?
0.
Perfect. 0 is my slope because it's the coefficient of x. And when I look, there is no x. So it's 0. My intercept is -8. What kind of line is this?
Horizontal.
Horizontal. All right, we're going to do 3 more. Y equals x. Y equals x. Y equals x. Let's do y equals x plus 7. Let's give it a little fanciness. Y equals x plus 7. What's my slope in y equals x plus 7? Sam?
It's just 1x.
It's 1, right? Can you make it a fraction?
X over 1.
Not x.
What?
1 over 1, right? Because there's 1x. What's the coefficient of x? 1. It's just not written there, right? What's my intercept? 7. 2 more. Y equals... What do I want to do? -1/8 x plus 3. Y equals -1/8 x plus 3. What's my slope? Good, Ollie. -1 over 8 or 1 over -8, correct? Both are the same. And my intercept is 3. All right, so we have 1 example. We have 2. We have 3. We have 4. We have 5. 6. And last but not least, x equals, let's do 6.
Y equals?
So here's a good question. Every other problem has started with y equals, correct? Meaning, if it starts with y equals, I can find my slope. If it starts with y equals, I can find my slope. This one does not start with y equals. So what kind of line do you think does not have a slope? A vertical line. It does not have a y-intercept or a slope because it's vertical. If it's x equals, that's a vertical line. Y equals, you're going to be able to figure out the slope. But x equals, you cannot figure out your slope. All right, so let's graph. Ready? I'm going to glue after I graph. If you want, I'm going to use different colors to just kind of color code myself. That's up to you. If that's something you appreciate. So this first graph right here, number 1 right here, I'm going to graph that. And I'm going to start with my intercept first. I'm going to go alphabetical order. B comes before M in the alphabet. Okay? So to do this, I'm going to, number 1, plot the y-intercept. Yes, sir. plot the y-intercept. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. Plot the y-intercept. So for problem 1, what's my y-intercept? -8. So on the y-axis, I'm going to put a dot at -8. So that's step 1. Step 2, from the y-intercept, count the slope. From the y-intercept, count the slope. Step 1 is plot the y-intercept. Step 2 is from the y-intercept, count the slope. So here's my y-intercept, which was -8, and my slope is 3/1. Rise, which direction is rise? Up, vertical. Run is horizontal. So I'm going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, +1. I'm going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, +1. I'm going to do this until I run out of room. Because the more dots we have, the straighter our line is. And we are going to do a unit that's called systems of linear equations. And you're going to want as many points on your line as possible during a systems. And then I'm going to take my straight edge. I'm going to connect the dots all the way through the graph. Put some arrows on the end of it. Make it a good, reliable graph. And I just graphed that linear equation. Then we're going to go to number 2. And my rules for graphing are plot the y-intercept first. So in problem number 2, what's my y-intercept? What's my y-intercept? +10. So right here, all the way at the very top. Oops, you can't even see it. And my slope is -1/2, or +1, -2. Which one of these do I want to graph? Because if I did up 1 and to the left 2, I'd be off my graph, right?
Wow, playing that one.
So I'm going to go down 1 and +2. Rise over run. I'm going to go down 1, +2. 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 And then I take my straight edge. And there you go. Number 3. What's my intercept on number 3?
0.
0. Where is that?
In the very middle.
What's that called?
Origin.
Origin. Good. And my slope is 5/3, meaning I'm going to go up 5 and to the right 3, up 5 and to the right 3. Can I do more dots?
Yeah.
Yeah, my other dots would lie below it. How do I continue? You do the negatives. Because up 3 and to the right, positive, positive, is the same thing as down and to the left. So instead of continuously going up and to the right, I'm going to do the opposite, which is down and to the left. Down and to the left. They're all on the same line. Take my straight edge. And connect all the way through. Blue. Number 4. Where's my intercept for number 4? Where does it intersect? It intersects at -8. Good. Which is, oh, right here. There's already a dot there. What's my slope for number 4? 0. What kind of line has a 0 slope?
Horizontal.
So I'm just going to take my graph, my straight edge. I'm turning it so that I can draw. And I'm just going to draw a horizontal line at -8. That has a slope of 0.
No way.
You try the next 3. I'll put my answers up on the board. You try the next 3. You can talk about it at your tables. Let's see, I need orange. So you're looking for, first is the intercept, and then you're counting your slope, and you're doing your slope as many times as possible. Now remember, when you get to line number 7, it's different than every other line because it does not have a y equals. If your equation says y equals, you can find the slope. If there is no y equals, you cannot find the slope, meaning it's undefined.